of Foreign Affairs of Taiwan, Joseph Wu. Sir, it is good to have you this morning. Thanks very much for joining us. And it's interesting to look at the Taiwanese response to this coronavirus and the success that you've had relative to China and the rest of the world. Can you tell us a little about it?
Thank you very much. It's very nice to be on your show, Maria. It has to go back to 2003. In that year, we were hit very hard by SARS, and we learned how to deal with it. The whole government is established to deal with the situation. So when we learned that there might be a new epidemic coming this way, so in December last year, we started to see the news that there were unknown cases of pneumonia, looks like SARS. So we tried to prepare ourselves. We set up our government task force, and then we set up our command center. It's a whole government approach to deal with the situation, including the health ministry, our CDC officials, our experts, our other government ministries go with it. And then on December 31st, we said, yes.
No, please continue.
Yeah, well, on December 31st last year, we started doing the onboard checking for those passengers coming back from Wuhan. And we also strengthened our checking facilities in the airport on all passengers coming in to see if they have respiratory syndromes or whether they have high fever. And we are doing this in order to prevent the cases from going up. And of course, the cases continue to go up because there are transmissions in Europe and now in the United States. So we want to check every passenger to make sure that the passengers coming in are screened properly. And for those cases that are confirmed, we not only want to contain them, we also want to quarantine those who those confirmed cases had contact with. So this is a whole of government approach in dealing with the situation.
Well, this has been an incredible approach and a very successful one. You're located Taiwan, 81 miles away from mainland China, and you've been able to manage this coronavirus outbreak as well. All of this travel going back and forth, China to Taiwan. So far in China, there have been more than 81,000 cases of coronavirus and more than 3,000 deaths, compared to less than 200 cases in Taiwan and 2 deaths in Taiwan. What other measures in terms of the travel, given that I know that you have so much travel going between China and Taiwan?
We have to set up our medical system so that they are properly prepared to deal with the situation. And we also understand that there might be economic impact. So we have our Ministry of Economic Affairs and also the Ministry of Finance to come up with packages to help the industries to deal with the situation. And we also go through public messaging. Public health officials go on television every evening to update the public and also to tell the public what is a good practice in a situation like this. And I think overall speaking, this is quite successful.
Yeah, I mean, you are accountable to your people. The democracy works. Final question before you go, sir. I know that the Hong Kong protests really impacted Taiwan. Tell me about that, because you know, the whole idea of one country, two systems was to get Taiwan more involved with China. Is that now dead? Where are you post the Hong Kong protests in that regard?
I think you are right that the one country, two system model in Taiwan has no attraction at all. When there was a protest in Hong Kong in March last year, people in Taiwan are watching very carefully because the Chinese government continued to say that the one country, two system model is for Taiwan to use in the future. But when the people in Taiwan see that protest, we know that that is not good for us. Taiwan is a democracy and rather mature one. And we also want the Hong Kong people to enjoy the same degree of freedom and democracy. And therefore, we support each other. And right now, we certainly hope that there can be free elections in Hong Kong and they can enjoy their freedom of speech.
Minister, it's so wonderful to hear you say that and to see this kind of democracy so close to China, where obviously the authoritarianism is failing, is very important to discuss. Minister, good to talk with you. Thanks very much for joining me this morning.
Thank you, Maria.